All right. Hello, everybody. We have got a banger of a series for you here. We have the new top dog Terran in Europe, but not just top dog Terran in Europe, arguably the best Terran in the world, or one of the very best. I'm not even freaking kidding. Right now, this guy is unstoppable. It is, of course, none other than Clem. And his opponent down here in the bottom right in the red, this is Serral. Many call him the greatest player of all time in StarCraft 2. He doesn't win every single tournament recently, which means people have said, oh, maybe he's washed up. Well, guess what? This is a match in the round of 12 of the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice World Championship. It is a best of 5 match to see who goes to the quarterfinals. And in their recent matches before this, they were back and forth. They were trading series. One would win, then the other would win. Always 3-2, 3-1. Really close series that they always play. But Clem especially looked so sick. He actually did drop a series to Solar, but it was they were both kind of all-inning each other. He did lose a macro game, but it's a bit of a wild series, so he lost that one. But Solar is the same guy who, remember, should have beat Maru. Solar is the guy who beat every other Terran. He crushed Beyond in his group, right? Solar has some of the best Zerg vs Terran in the world. And Clem looked really good against him as well as everybody else. And Serral, on the other hand, he just crushes Terran players. Like, he crushes everybody. Serral just looks unstoppable when he's in his element. He is one of the most control-oriented players. Of course, he's very risk-averse, and he does not like losing. He gets angry. He gets out for revenge when he loses a series to someone. And he just looks very, very powerful in this matchup especially. Serral also is very cerebral about how he plays versus opponents. He very much tries to counter what he considers their style. And I know Serral is a more defensive guy. He's a guy who does very well versus Beyond. Why does he do so well versus Beyond? Because he just fucking takes the momentum away from you. Terran players who rely on momentum, Serral is the guy who will just not let you stress him out. He will always be ready. He'll be so well prepared for every wave, and he'll shut it down. And that, I think, bodes very well for Serral up against Clem. By the way, full disclosure, do I know the outcome of this series? Yes. Did I cast it? No. Was I off that day? Yes. Was I screaming at my TV watching it? Hells yes. And I'll tell you guys, this is a really exciting series, and there's something different between actually casting it yourself and looking through the replays and seeing everything as opposed to just watching on your TV and screaming in excitement. All I tell you guys is, trust me, this series delivers. And I'm sure I'm going to pick up on details and break things down in a lot more detail now that I've got my hands on the replay and I can control the camera and look around at exactly what's going on. But yeah, dude, so many good series in this tournament in general. And Serral's going to poke in with a Zergling. He's like, hey, you didn't go for a Reaper. That's a pretty early Marine count. So check out this build order from Clem. Super early armory goes down. Okay, so he's gone for how many Marines? That 6 Marines, and he swaps the barracks with the reacted factory. So this is like a normal fast expand, but he's just got lots of Marines out of that reactor. So 6 Marines, so it's a reactor first. Hellions weren't the fastest, but he's basically doing a Hellbat timing. Now, often you'd hit with 6 Hellbats and maybe 3 Marines in a medevac. This is a starportless Hellbat timing. This is all about the Marine count. 7 Marines, 2 Hellions, that'll be Hellbats, and these Hellions are so fast. They can drive across the map and join up with this. That Zergling, it's not positioned. I think he's meant to be looking for air units flying out with this Zergling. He actually doesn't see the move out, so Serral here is going to be caught off guard, and he's taking this forward hatch, which is way closer for this push to hit. Now, Clem, these Marines are going to add some real flexible damage. Of course, there's nothing like a Baneling that's ready. There's 3 Queens out, 3 more in production, but those Hellbats and those Marines pretty good against these units. Serral's going to have to kite with these Queens. He's going to have to shoot, move. Really nice micro so far. He's got to pull these other Queens in as well, though. That Queen taking a fair bit of damage. His link speed is not even done yet. This is such a crazy push. 1 Hellbat down. Serral, oh, he loses a Queen there. The Marines add such good ranged firepower to this, and the Hellbats are just Zergling roasters. He's already taken out 2 of the Queens. Can he get a 3rd and a 4th? It looks like he can. Some drones pull in to buy just a moment of time. 3 drones already going down, though, and those drones are in trouble. This Queen got to get out of there. Those Marines had such a bit of ranged firepower. Normally, Hellbat attacks just don't kill Queens that well because the Queens can outrun the Hellbats, but the Marines actually killed quite a bit there, and at the end of that, very even in resources lost, but this has also stalled out the worker production of the Zerg. So 33 drones versus 36 SCVs, a lovely push from Clem. Serral, though, says, fuck you, mate. You're being a greedy shit behind that, aren't you? Does he know about the 3rd CC? He doesn't, but he sees that there's Jackal production. Now, there is reacted Hellions. But Serral is making Banelings. Serral's going to counter immediately across the map with Banelings. He knows that Clem is probably going to assume he's droning these Hellions. When they dart in here and see no drones on that base, they're going to get a very, very worried reaction. 2 Hellions, 3 Marines. I mean, he's swapping the factory off the reactor. That's not good. Those Hellions going to poke in the Queen, zone them out quite well. So he doesn't actually see the worker line. And oh no, he's just left the base with all of his Hellions. His Marines getting caught out. That is about to get blown up. Bam! 3 supply depots go down. Lings in the natural. Those Banelings, can they cut off the SCV retreat? Oh, yes. Good spready by Clem. Trying to avoid those Banelings as best he can. The SCV's trying to run. Marines on the high ground, getting surrounded by the Zerglings. Hellions trying to run on in here. That one Hellion can get blown on up, but the Hellions focus fire on the Banelings. Nice, though. One Baneling splits off, does hit the Hellions. Oh, Serral's getting a lot of damage right now. That Hellion gets surrounded on top of the ramp. The Hellions come back. They kill one more Baneling. The SCV's doing some good micro. Clem has lost 12, 13, 14, 15 workers. That's a lot of damage going down, but he's got triple orbitals. Triple orbitals dropping mules, and Serral is only just now starting to build workers, and oh, those Hellions saw that Ling reinforce. So Clem knows that he's not just invested in that wave, but there's more behind it. Serral overproduced Lings. If he was already into droning, that would be really good. So Serral realizes, okay, let's hope he moves out with these Hellions, and then I'm going to set up for a big surround. But I think Serral might be a little close for this surround. If he had an Overlord on the pillar, so we could see when the Hellions move out, he might be able to set it up. But as it is, he doesn't, and he's accidentally rallied a drone across the map as well. So I think he's a little too close to the ramp. The idea is as soon as the Hellions come out there or there, he's just going to run in and stop them getting behind the wall. There'll only be a few Marines providing firepower behind this. Droning is fully underway now. 50 drones versus 39 SCVs, so that's still okay for Clem, but it's going to blossom for Serral. The next minute or two is going to be big. He's going to go straight for a 4th base in the south. And that work account's being hit hard. Double Evo chamber starts up as 1-1 is already on the way for Clem. Now, a nice little note about Clem is he does, I believe, hotkey his engineering bays with his command centers. Oh, Hellions come out. Zerglings! Whoa, they get a surround, but the Marines are gunning down those Zerglings, and they actually free the Hellions from that surround, and just enough units survive. So not a bad little scary move from Serral, but doesn't quite get the full wraparound that he was looking for. A bit too much firepower that broke down those Zerglings and let the Hellions slip free. So a couple of Hellions go down. But you know what? Serral's up on 61 drones. He's got a 4th on the way. He starts Carapace and melee. Baneling speed at a good timing. And because he's kind of had a rough start, he's just going to play 4 gas for now and just massling Bane while trying to get a 4th base saturated on minerals. This is a good way to play to defend any counterattacks. Speaking of which, there's still Hellions building. Dude, Clem is going hard on the Hellbat counterattack here. Some Lings are going to hit the 3rd base. Oh, Serral, it's undefended. There's a few Hellions there. Okay, Serral is going to commit across. He's trying to make more Banelings and Queens here. Okay, those Hellbats very well spread. He wants the Banelings to hit the juicy center of the Hellbats and the Marines. They don't quite get it. Those Zerglings kill 2 SCVs and quickly pulls back before Clem can deal with that. And you notice Clem keeps pulling back from the Banelings, so Serral keeps respecting it and pulling back. Finally, the Hellbats are gone. And the Queens do push that back. They respread a few of these creep tumors out here. But nice defense on his 3rd base from Clem. So there's a 12 worker advantage for Serral. But those 1-1 upgrades, especially +1 attack, is about to kick in. No upgrades yet for Serral. So these Marines going to be really good at killing Queens, Zerglings, Banelings. Picks off just 1 Baneling and 1 Queen. Bit of miss micro on that drop as he pushes through the middle at the same time. He's going to clear the creep there. Even morphs a few into Hellbats, which means I don't think this will fit in the medevacs. He'll be able to save the Marines. Won't be able to fit all of the Hellbats in there as well. Gets an Overlord. Gets a bit of that creep. Baneling's rolling into the 3rd base though. Serral here. He does not want to let Clem just put on the aggression. I told you guys Clem is very aggressive. Serral likes to take the wind out of your sails. You're trying to stress him out. He's going to punish you. You think you can just attack all game. Serral finds a way to sneak 6 Banelings across the map. 16 workers. And that devastates the economy of Clem. The 1-1 upgrades are about to catch up. The 1-1 of Clem has not started. He's got an armory from earlier in the game, so he does start +2 attack now. Clem here getting some good trades. Oh, you cannot lose this hatch to Serral. Oh no! Serral, he's bringing down more Zerglings, but a little bit too late. Oh, okay, barely hangs on. Does get a few of those Marines in there. Those medevacs very low. But look at this indentation in the creep. Clem here just going for broke. Oh, the Banelings take out the Widow Mines, which normally I'd say is a good trade, but where are the rest of his Banelings? Serral right now is under the gun, under the pressure. He's up 20 workers, but Clem is not giving him time to get more Banelings out. These Lings are not able to do it. The Banelings come in, but there's no Lings to support. He does get a Widow Mine there and a good Baneling connection on the Marine Hellbat, but there's so little support left. Clem has this narrow little gap in the creep that he's opened up. He's able to micro on that. He micros away from those speed Banes. He focuses them down. Oh, one lands in a big way. Serral might just be able to barely get this defense together. There's almost nothing rallying across the map right now. He does redrop and... Idra? Idra? I do not think that was good game. Serral buckles under the pressure there. Is this a bad situation? Fuck yes, it's a pretty damn bad one. These are his only 3 queens. Oh, he's trying to rebuild a queen in the main. The fact that this avenue of no creep here, this area, if Clem can fight off creep, he is so savagely efficient. So savagely efficient. Right now, there are 10 Zerglings on the map. No Banelings in production. But the fact that he's up 18, was that 17 worker advantage. I mean, he doesn't have an Overseer. His queens are about to die. Almost certainly. He does have 2 transfuses. So these 2 transfuses can band-aid each other. The medevac count's looking real healthy here, man. Even though some of them are low on energy, 7 medevacs. You can't fight this with Ling Queen. You just cannot. So that's the real problem, is he knows he's going to lose probably all these queens, have no injects. I still think it's a little too early, but I think Serral's been getting very frustrated lately. And I really feel you morph Banelings with those. I mean, if you lose your 4th, is it the end of the world? No, it's actually the injects that's the end of the world. It's the lack of injects. So he's probably going to lose all these drones and this hatch. If Clem doesn't just shove into this base and even start killing workers there. It's a really bad situation. I'm going to call that a preemptive GG though. Serral tapping out there a little early. I think he absolutely should have fought that out, because just keep in mind, even though these 9 Marines are a clear and present danger, and he's got, 10 Marines. There's 1 in the medevac and 1 Widowmine. What's his reinforce? He does not have a lot coming in behind this. Clem is pretty broke in this game. He's starting plus, he's got +2 on the way. You've got +2 melee. I mean, it doesn't feel good as Serral, but it's not good as Clem either. I think after having killed that 3rd mineral line, Serral should have been much more happy to play a very scrappy, down and dirty game. I'm gonna rule this a problem. I think this is an early GG for Serral. I think you could argue he probably should lose from there anyway, but to leave at a point where there is any question left, such an important game 1, I'm gonna rule this a mistake for Serral. I really think that shows that he was a bit tilted, a bit upset with how this game went. Has to go into game 2 with a 0-1 deficit. Oh, all right. Game 2, a game 1 victory despite having his 3rd mineral line annihilated. Just the ability to work that little avenue in between the 3rd and the 4th base of Serral, and it's a bit too good for him. Up here in the top right, it's Clem. Down in the bottom left, in the red, the Zerg player, it's Serral. Looked unstoppable in the tournament up to this point, only dropping a series in the Zerg vs Zerg to Dark, where it felt like he didn't quite play his best game there. Dark played excellently and dispatched him without breaking a sweat. A very surprising result there in the group stage. Not often you see Serral just crumble, but a good Zergling all in, which is actually one of Serral's weak points. And if you do a really committed gambly kind of Zergling all-in that you hide very well, sometimes he does fall to it. But here in Zerg vs Terran, games like that last one, pretty rare. I think that Hellbat attack, and then Serral countering with his Ling Bane attack. Serral it's not the sort of guy who's going to have a lot of reps in that scenario. I like the instincts to go for the Ling Bane counter, and he was very close to getting critical damage. Remember, the start of that last game, if Serral had 1 or 2 more Banelings getting into the main mineral line in the main, he clears like 20 more SCVs and just wins the game from there very easily. So that was a small misstep. You could argue maybe when Serral first busted in, he should have just been morphing more Banelings earlier. He might have won it. Or he should have stopped rallying his Zerglings. So remember, he built an extra like 30 Lings that he didn't have much purpose for. So I do think Serral, a great choice to go for the Ling Bane counterattack, but maybe not quite as much damage off it as he would have liked. Now, Clem is actually opening up very safe with an SCV scout this game. People very rarely SCV scout against Serral because they like to cut corners and be greedy. But there is a Reaper behind this as well. So comes in, sees the expansion, and just goes immediately home. Reaper, of course, It's just going to hop out here and rally straight across the map. And he's actually already rallying his Marine. Oh, no, no. Changed it just to there. So Marine straight into the factory after that second depot. And we expect to see a second gas go down right after that. Really generic standard opening. Now, no Ling speed starting up yet for Serral, who wants to take the EU expansion pattern out to the left. Oh. Clem here. Okay. Reaper just microing. Wants the Reap attacks, but Queen's going to pop out in a moment. And she says no, 0 damage so far. So normally what the Europeans like to do is expand there and then up here and get this avenue forward. Just kind of expand into these big open areas. Of course, this base over here, people don't like as much because of tanks there, as well as tanks there. And the fact that, especially if you haven't taken those rocks down, they can kind of spread tanks up here, and it just becomes a bit of an awkward angle. That being said, you can always flank around and come from here and cut off the reinforce. But for now, Serral getting his third up, his third queen building there. His first queen immediately drops a tumor. Does he do a second tumor straight away? Looks like he does. You don't want to lose that, though. Okay, that creep tumor does spread out, of course, zoning the Reaper away. He wants to put another one down, but he knows that Clem is waiting. Clem wants to kill a creep tumor. He's like, I know you've got lots of energy. I know you want to be spreading creep. Serral's like, can you fuck off, mate? Seriously, dude. So annoying. Let me put my friggin' tumor down, dude. She drops a tumor and does get that down. Oh, quick third CC. This is the 2-1-1. Okay, so this often goes into like a Hellbat timing as well. Doesn't necessarily have to, but essentially we'll see the 2 barracks building stim, lots of Marines, starport goes down there, reactor on the factory. So it's a classic 2 barracks, factory, starport. So 2-1-1 in terms of your production. And then he's going to go for 16 Marines, 2 medevacs, and have a nice little pressure timing. Sometimes you'll see players actually build Hellions. So they might swap the factory and the starport, build 2 medevacs, and then swap them back and start building Hellions to morph into Hellbats with it. Whether or not he does that, we don't know. But either way, it's like that same build that was so popular for such a long time. The only difference being, of course, that... Clem's still not a single kill, by the way. The only difference is that he's got the 3rd command center that'll be landed behind it. So you cannot afford to take any damage to this as the Zerg. It just kind of jumps you forward to the I've got Marine medevac drops and we're playing a macro game. Like, you know, no commitment to Hellion pressure. It's 2 Hellions and a Reaper. It's just a little scouting force more than anything. Seeing if they can pick off tumors, that sort of stuff. And as the Overlord comes in and sees that 3rd CC, sees the extra barracks going down, Serral knows what he's up against. It's already gone for the lair, the Baneling Nest. And the 2nd and 3rd gas guys. So 3 gas, 4 gas Banelings. And he's got fully saturated main and natural 3rd, just slightly under saturation. But essentially, this is almost like a rule of 1 gas, jumping to 4 gases. And then takes a 4th on the right, not on the left, interestingly. Now that's... I'm not sure if they always do this on this map. I haven't watched enough European Zerg vs. Terran. To me, it feels like you'd want to take this base first and get your creep out here early, and then take this base on the left, but maybe worried about tanks setting up behind these rocks, actually. So you wanted to get the creep out the left. I always thought like a laser and stuff took this base. I guess I'll have to go check with Lambo and a laser and look at their games the next few times and see what the rest of these European Zergs do. And Raynor as well, of course. The Marines coming in the left side, take out that Overlord. They're going to look for a scan and start to put a dent into the creep spread. No 4th base on the left. Maybe this is why Serral avoided that. He said, you know what, I know you're going to come to that side expecting me to expand there, so I just don't want to give you a 4th base up on that high ground to pick away at. I'm going to take one over here, and it gives me more time to spread creep out the front. He's taking those rocks down. Be good to take down those rocks and those rocks as well. 3rd base is up and into just tank production. So Clem going to be setting up for the siege tanks. Very good against Hydras and Lurkers. 1-1 upgrades. 4th and 5th barracks on the way. Really good macro progression here. Serral's Overlords. Oh, 2 Overlords just accidentally rallied across the map. He realizes and sends those off to the right. Hopefully can save them. Lingbane Queen here comes forward. The Marines, though, with their stims, going to take out a few creep tumors. The Queen Lingbane will come forward. Good hot pickup. Clem really not losing many units at all. He's lost 1 unit so far, and I believe that's the 1 Marine for 17 Zerglings, 2 Banelings, 2 Overlords. Of course, Serral scouting everything, did have a bigger economy. He's saturating a 4th mineral line right now, but he's only gone single upgrades. So only single upgrades means Serral's going to have more units, but it means he's going to have even more pressure on himself, crushing the pushes when they come. He's got a good time Bane speed. He sees this push coming. Marine tank coming forward. Baneling speed's 20 seconds away. Clem here finding the narrowest of timings. He's clearing the creep up ahead of this. He's really got to get rid of that one as well. Absolutely should have got rid of that creep stream. It doesn't quite get it. The tank there picks up a tank, and he's going to ferry that over to that spot. So Clem here setting up baneling speed, ready a little bit late. And this is such a hard position because you're going to clump up in this choke point. If Serral wants to fight this, he's going to need to flank from behind. He goes in, but he gets shot by that tank. He's coming in, but the baneling speed a little bit mistimed, and his flank on the north came in just a little too early. He doesn't have enough lings backing this up. A few too many banelings for Serral, not enough zerglings. He goes in a little too early, cleans up the tank, but gets barely any marine kills. This tank on the right still a clear and present danger for Serral, and he's under so much pressure. He's going to try and counterattack with a few zerglings, but look at this Clem, because he's got that tank to fall back on. He's doing so much damage. These queens are damaging the medevacs, but they're not even killing them yet. Lings do run in the mineral line. That's a nice move. He's going to pull him away. Clem still microing on the front in the midst of this. Just stims a few marines over those marines plus the medevacs. Going to clean up these zerglings. Clem doesn't really care about that. Serral needs to send 80% of his army to flank. He needs to either sandwich this or overwhelm it right now. He's going to come in for that sandwich. The lings take out the tank. He tries to get the banelings out of there, but Clem focus firing those banes with his tank. He kills so many banelings. 25 have already gone down. 90 zerglings for just 2 tanks and 15 marines. Another ling counterattack goes in, and it's held off with ease. I mean, Serral, he's got to commit more to the counterattacks, but he's not willing to give up this hatch. He started a hatch on the left, so that's a really good move. I think he's going to have to give this base up, to be honest. I think go for a big backstab. Try to buy time on this hatch while you're doing it, but send 80% of your army across. Right now, you're in a holding pattern that is a losing position. He goes in again, but a lot of his banelings are still morphing. His unit's disjointed, and once again, he goes in. That's a 33 kill siege tank. He does roll some banes into the mineral line, but Clem showing off that French gymnastics, does a beautiful spready on the SCVs, only loses 4 SCVs there. And Serral, he finally abandons this base, but he's already given up so many units trying to defend it. And Clem here, the absolute annihilator that he is, just shoving his way forward. And Serral, whoo, down 0-2. What the hell, man? Okay, so check this out. This is crazy. So the first pushes, the first holds, he just loses way too many units. And notice the tank is always shooting those banelings, even as they retreat, right? Man, this is a really hard situation. Serral's actually floating a bit of money as well here. So he's struggling because he's not injecting completely properly here. That's a big problem, dude. Serral actually floating 1,000 minerals. Wow, that's a problem. So he actually missed some injects, some small mistakes. I would argue as well that he probably should have had a 5th hatchery up. If you're playing a 4-gasling Bane style, you really need 5 hatcheries by default. Unless you hit perfect injects, which nobody does. Nobody hits perfect injects. Yeah, you need a 5th hatch. So I'm actually, I guess because he was rushing up to Bane speed and playing single Evo, he was kind of doing this, let's get the defense ready here and now. If he got a 5th hatch up there, it would have been great. Because the Marines were so active beforehand, he didn't. A macro hatch is not bad, but a 5th base is amazing rather than a macro hatch. Because then, if he pushes that side, you give it up, you run the drones to the right. It's not the end of the world. If he pushes here and it's an untenable position, then you can pull them over to the left and defend that way. But because he didn't have anywhere else to go, he was kind of forced to fight. And just the way Clem gets in here, like, if baneling speed was ready, Serral would have just jumped on this, respread creep. Clem would be forced to start from back here. Maybe Serral actually had the numbers to jump on it already, even without Bane speed. Before the tanks were sieged, he might have been able to go. But then Serral ends up being over-eager to bust this. He's got banelings ready for a run-by the way. I missed this. Let's see. Does that do damage? Does that do damage? I was so busy casting the fight. Oh, he does misclick it. He could have killed about 16 SCVs. 11 is still good damage. That's good. That's good. But actually, this position is more important. So I think the run-by is nice, but I think this first engage is a disaster. So he was not expecting that tank to be so far back, and then he was like, oh shit, it's starting. So he kind of feels forced to go in because that tank's already shelling on him. So this is a really bad fight for Serral. Big tank shot. Big tank shot. And just look at how few actual Marines die in this fight. If he had another 15 Zerglings, I think he could have won this fight. Just another few Zerglings, and he's got minerals. He's got 1,000 minerals in the bank. Because if he just kept running with those Banelings towards the Marines on the right, and just get Zerglings on the tank, he can hold this. And if he gets rid of this position, respreads creep, Serral's fine. He cleared the mineral line. But his inability to deal with this position, that first fight was really bad, and from there it was always going to be really hard, but especially because he's not spending his minerals. 1,000 minerals. Think about that. That's 20 pairs of Zerglings. 40 Zerglings of minerals just sitting there on the shelf. Serral is going to be super tilted. That is not the sort of mistake Serral is meant to make. He should have had a 5th hatchery up there. He should have been a bit better with his injects. Clem leads the series 2-0. Oh, right. He is smashing face in this series. And if you let him get position outside of your base, I'll tell you what, you've got to give him no avenue to escape, right? Like you've got to get like a full surround. You got to get a wrap around. Like Clem is the kind of guy you have to like hold him by the scruff of his shirt to land a punch. Otherwise he's too elusive, you know? You gotta hold him down. You gotta put your weight on him. He's looking like he's poised to 3-0 this series. The young gun, Clem. In the top left, fueled by rage, hatred, anger, and madness at the bullshit of Terran units. Right now, keen to make that comeback, and I tell you, he's gritting his teeth and he's getting pretty pissed off right now. And that is where he draws his power. A deep well of hatred. This is the Night King. It is Serral. He just wants to bring the cold winter of the far north to the rest of the world and raise the armies of the undead swarm. So far, Clem has been very aggressive. I feel kind of like it's been that big fight towards the end of Game of Thrones, you know, and they're like, so our strategy is we'll stand behind this wall and Dothraki, you guys are going to YOLO to start the day. And you're like, wait, what? Yeah, just YOLO into the horde. And you're like, what? But it's been working. In this scenario, game 1 and game 2, Clem's Dothraki have been charging ahead and just fucking killing the horde, man. They've been killing everybody. I mean, it's not a stupid maneuver if you got micro as good as Clem's bio does, his Dothraki Marines apparently. But I'll tell you what, the Night King's going to be mad. At this point, the Night King's going to be pissed off. He's like, you can't attack into a fucking zombie horde, you dickhead. So I'm sure Serral's going to be pulling out his A game in this series. And I mean, if he got 2-0'd crushed by Dark, if he's to get 3-0'd by Clem, that is where you're like, that's where maybe Harstem has to make a new video to answer the frequently asked question, is Serral washed up? And it's no, shut the fuck up. But Clem's just really good. So he's delaying Ling Speed once again, pulls 2 off gas, leaves 1 on there. Reaper comes in, and he's going to take this forward hatchery. The EU 3rd base for a 4th base down there. It's the way people like to play this. And the Reaper coming in. He wants his tax. You got to pay the Reaper, man. If you want to cross the river Styx, you got to pay the Reaper, man. But Serral says, fuck that, I'll cheat the system. Oh, did he get it? Oh my god, he gets it, but he does lose the Reaper. Okay, good micro by Serral. Clem there, very ambitious. Comes in with a weak Reaper, gets the tumor. Annoying for Serral. The first tumor does hurt, but if they lose the Reaper for it, I don't think you mind, because it means your next tumors can spread completely unstopped, and I think that's totally fine for you. This time around, a quick double gas, so no quick 3rd command center, straight into double Hellions and a starport. Probably a Banshee opening for Clem. Could be a Liberator as well. But a little bit more of the old school Zerg vs Terran as the first creep tumor goes down. And we are seeing those queens pop out. The creeps start to spread. Zergling at the front hanging out. Now, so with this build, keep in mind, people have been delaying Ling Speed. This one's not going to finish for another 35 seconds or so there. So it's about 4 minutes usually. And ZvP and ZvT, a lot of Zergs have been doing this. They're like, 1 Reaper's not a big threat. 1 Adept's not a big threat. 2 Adepts. Bunch of Hellions, 4 Hellions, okay, that's a threat. But Ling Speed usually doesn't finish until that moment. Some people will dive past with the first 2 Hellions and see if they can kill some drones in that period. Sometimes to great effect, sometimes to absolutely nothing. I think it was a Cure versus Lambo match where Cure just dived with 2 Reapers and a Hellion. And like in that 15-20 second window before Ling Speed finished, he killed like 8 or 9 drones. And it's so early in the game that like that is a lot of economy to lose for 2 Hellions and a Reaper. But Baneling Nest down very early. Serral, he's not going Overlord speed, so he's just getting that to be safe against Hellbats. He's seen the starport. He now sees Cloak. Great scouting by Serral coming in from the back. In the rear with the perv. Ooh, Hellions go to dive in. But good Queen Zergling positioning, and the Hellions slip on out of there. So far, just 1 Zergling, 1 tumor for 1 Reaper. Good early game for Serral so far. Main base is saturated, natural saturated as the lair starts, and the 3rd base already almost there. As I said, very much a traditional rule of one gas. Serral just always opting for the lair and the Baneling nest. He wants Baneling speed for control. He wants to deny Clem the ability to get openings and get the movement going on his side of the map as his priority. Evo chambers upgrades taking a little bit of a back seat to just having the Baneling speed to crush the early Marine stim pushes. Spores are now down. The lair, of course, is also high priority if you know it's Banshee, because that allows you to make overseers. So for now, pre-cloak, the queens can chase the Banshee off, but once cloak's done, only the spore crawl is going to be the intermediary detection. Good pullback on those drones, not presenting anything. Great movement by Serral, who's already got creeps spreading in all directions. The Hellions will find this tumor. Clem finally getting a little bit of creep slowdown, but it's spreading on all different sides. The Banshee there is actually denying the creep on that side as well. So Serral wisely not spreading creep for a moment here. He pushes the Hellions back, then spreads the tumor. Then spreads it down south. Oh, that's a quick Spire. Wow, Serral's going to go Spire before Baneling speed this game. So he's actually going quick Spire, which means his upgrades are going to be really late. So it'll be Spire, then Baneling nest. He's going straight to 6 gases. No more of that 4 gas Massling Bane style. He says, I want mutas. I want to shut you down. I'm sick of you being all over this map. Also, if I get mutas out, it shuts down the Banshees. Otherwise, the Banshees can hang around for a long time, be very annoying. Now, does Serral do the same weird thing as in the last game and take this base, or does he go for the standard? Yeah, he goes for, okay, goes for the more normal 4th pattern down here. Zergling's taking some damage. Banshee's being annoying as that 3rd commander does float out there. The queens do push back the Banshees, get a little bit of damage done. This creep in the south looking awesome. Serral really starting to just goop up the map here with this creep spread. Still doesn't really spread those tumors. The Banshees keep coming over there. I think every time Serral is like, oh, let's spread those, he knows the Banshees are nearby, so he's not bothering. But now that the queens are here, bam, bam. No? Still being very conservative with that. Okay, fair enough. Hellions here defending. Marines are out with stim now. 1-1 so far ahead for Clem. So this is going to be something, guys. His bio is going to be 1-1 upgrades ahead here. And Baneling speed, 30 seconds until that's ready. Mutas are out. Evos are done, but because he's building 8 Mutalisks to start, it's his next set of gas. Only then will he be able to start 1-1. So his 1-1 is going to be miles behind. Armory is a little slow for Clem there. Will delay his 2-2 a little, but that's okay. Second factory already on the way. So he wants to get into Thor Widowmine, knowing he's up against Mutiling Bane here. Or at least knowing he's against Ling Bane at the very least. And he does now, I believe, spot those Mutalisks. He's got to be very careful. Oh, maybe he hasn't spotted it. Oh, he scans. He sees the mutas. He catches a glimpse, but that's scary, dude. Those mutas not actually counterattacking. If Serral dove across the map, he'd find an opening. Turrets are now going down in each base. Widowmine there in the natural as well, just to beef up the defenses. Clem's going to rotate around the north and try to put a dent in the creep there, or maybe come in from this high ground, have less of a flanking angle. Oh, Lings could go in there. There's only a few Marines around. The Banshees are a good defense, but Serral a bit lazy with this. Oh, he could get in that mineral line right now. Serral missing an opportunity right now. Oh, there is a Widowmine, but it would friendly fire the SCVs. That's a missed opportunity in my opinion. 2-2 starts up just after the 1-1 starts. This is a massive upgrade lead. You're just going to grab 1 SCV. Make that 2, 3 SCVs, including the bounce damage. He's going to get the refinery as well. Those Marines a little slow to respond here. Clem is ignoring the mutas and pushing everything across the map. What the hell? Okay, he's going to lose some reactors for that. This is a crazy choice by Clem. He's literally letting the mutas tear up his production. He's losing his reactors here. He says, hey, if you've got mutas there, I bet you're not ready at home. And right now he's not. I mean, Serral is down double upgrades. He does not want to fight with an upgrade deficit. Not like this. Banelings roll in. They get taken out by a Widowmine and the 2 Banshees there. They don't really find anything. The mutas are coming back. I like the way he's buying time. Do not fight. You've got 40 seconds, Serral. Just buy time. Only fight if he pushes on creep. I love the way Serral's just buying time here. He's just slowly, patiently. No, don't go in. Don't go in. That's a good Zergling. Baits that. He's going to come forward now. He doesn't quite have his 1-1, so he's down 2 upgrades, but I think he feels he's just got the numbers. Is this worth it, though? I think that might be an overextension there from Serral. I really do think that was 20 seconds away from his 1-1 finishing. Clem here with a big upgrade advantage. The mutas are back to try and help out. Serral has 80 drones. He's got a good economy right now. 4 base versus 3. A drone in the mix as well. More Banelings trying to morph. 1-1 is still not there. It's just a few seconds from finishing. As we can see, Clem has got this position position. Remember, when he creates a dent in your creep, it's so powerful, and he is looking for this area. He wants to get in between this third base and the fifth base in the north. He wants to get between the rally points. He wants to create some havoc, create some openings. The Widow Mine's a little bit deep on creep there. Nice spready from Serral so far. One Widow Mine is still there, though. 1-1 versus 1-1. For the next 30 seconds, it's equal upgrades. If he can get rid of this army and respread creep, it would be really powerful for Serral, but he's just not finding a way to do that. Does he have Overlord speed? He does. So his Speed Overseer can allow his mutas to snipe this Widow Mine. He goes for it. Gets it. More units coming in. Lots of Widow Mines there. Serral's going to try to jump on this, but those Widow Mines have drilling claws now. They burrow very quickly. I like this split. If he can just get a few Banelings in the middle there. Oh, he needs one more Baneling. It takes 3 Banelings to kill Widow Mines. He splits one off, gets it. Almost gets that. Another Widow Mine deep in the red. If he can get a few more Banelings and detonate those right in the middle, he'll finish those last 2 Widow Mines. When there's no Widow Mines left, your Ling Bane does so much better against this Marine-heavy army. But right now, a double upgrade advantage again, and Serral going to roll in with the Muta Baneling. If he can clear out that Widow Mine, that's really going to help set up. Baiting him on the front, he is. The Mutas take out the Widow Mine. They're going to take out one Banshee. Very nice. The Banelings. Oh, Clem with the quick evac, though. Banelings take out the missile turret, though. No anti-air for you. 6 SCVs go down as well as the mutas go back in and they say, let's hit those reactors again. Get those add-ons. Reactors take a very long time to build. I think it's like 37 seconds or something ridiculous. Way longer than Attack Lab. As more Lings rolling into that base. I mean, they could maybe commit on top of that. Bring the Widow Mines on top of the Marines. And indeed they do. The Widow Mines slaughters the Marines and SCVs. The defensive Widow Mines, they can work for you, but they can work against you as well. And Clem there losing 12 workers. Serral back in this game with the run bys. If he can respread creep here, he's got a bit of respite. If he uses this time to spread creep out through the middle, through the north of the map, then this next push is going to be much easier to deal with. He's 50 seconds behind on his upgrades. He needs to buy that time before the next fight happens. Avoid a big clash. Until then, but there's a Thor here. 2 big daddy Thors. Widow Mine's bio pushing through the middle of this map. Morling Bane coming in. A big Widow Mine clears out the Lings. There's still a lot of Banelings there, but there's another Widow Mine. Widow Mine turret Banshee doing such a good job of defending that base. Can he keep it up? The Banelings roll in. The Ling takes that. Good evacuation there. Banelings take out some SCVs, but not all that much. They take out some depots as well. Look at the way Serral here lets his Queens tank. He pulls right back. He says, no, I'm not going to fight you. If you want to fight, you need to shove on creep, and that's when I'll surround you. But until then, I'm just waiting, and 2-2's going to kick in 10 seconds. He's bought the time he needs. And his mutas go across. Too slow on the repair is Clem. The mutas taken out. This is 16 mutas with +1 attack. They've got +2 on the way as well. Clem trying to pressure on the front. He says, okay, if your mutas aren't at home, they can't really help you. But there's Thor pushing forward. This bio army pushing forward. He's going to lose another turret, though. Oh, no. Clem too slow on the repair. He's trying to pull Serral's attention away, but Clem is taking some big losses for it. This Thor up front, how do you get rid of these Thors? You need to surround them with Zerglings, and that's very expensive. A Spore actually does some good damage. The Marines trying to pull back off creep. Meanwhile, though, Clem is taking big damage behind this. And you know what? Serral, he pushes him back, and at the same time ravages the main base. Damage in the natural, damage in the main. He took out the workers on the 4th before that. Watch out for the Widow Mines, and he does pull out. He's down to just 16 Mutalisks. That's the exact same count he started. He didn't lose a single muta. He didn't lose a single muta. Every single muta is still there. He's taking out the Widow Mines, and oh my god, he frees up another opening, even more. 32 SCVs, and what did it cost him? Nothing, nada, 0. It cost him micro APM attention and the skill of a 460 APM god. Holy crap, Serral. He's back in this. Clem's economy is not that good. Clem's got a 5th landing in the north, though. That could cause problems for Serral. Serral is running away with his mutas. At the same time, his Lings get on top of these medevacs. Medevacs say, hey, your mutas are on my side of the map. I'll take advantage of that. Ooh, good Widow Mine hit. Does shoo those mutas away. That base is exposed. If he finds that, that would be huge. Banelings coming on in. Oh, that Widow Mine, though, does stop some of them. But what do we got? Okay, they're going to kill still a fair few number of the SCVs. The bio does clean that up now. Well done by Clem. The mutas find that base in the north, but Thors, Marines, mutas, mines coming forward to chase those Mutalisks away. Let's look at the units lost tab in this game. Only a few thousand resources more efficient for Clem. You want to be a lot more efficient than that, especially when you look at these worker counts. 83 6-base Zerg. But it's a 5-base Terran. If he had 10-15 more SCVs, I'd feel a lot more comfortable with Clem's economy. As it is, though, he has a huge army. Mutas come home and finally clean that up. It's 18 mutas, 3 more on the way. He's going above 20 mutas. That's a giant muta count, and that means he's going to need a crazy Baneling count to deal with this army. There's not that many Marauders, though. There's 8 on the map. Only 6 of them here and 2 Thors. That's the meat shield, but he doesn't even have concussive. He's forgotten concussive, and that's actually a big problem. Oh, he gets the Widow Mines and a bunch of the bio there, does Serral. Serral's outnumbered, though, but Lings hit the 3rd base, and he rolls on top. Oh, a little bit clumped is Clem as he deals with the run by. He does quickly spread and pull back, but this is so good. The disengage and engage from both sides. Serral pulls back, says, come forward and clump your units so I can take you out. The mutas intercept the rally point as the Banelings and Zerglings clear up the 3rd base. He's just killed another 15 workers. More importantly, he's smashing the rally. He gets both of those Widow Mines before they can fire. Marines being forced to stem back. He's going to run down there. Oh, 3 more mines in the open, and they're all off cooldown, which means he can take him down. 3 more Widow Mines. Flies on into that main base. These mutas, the secret sauce to Serral's success in this game. They have just been done so well. He's only lost 5 Mutalisks this entire game. How the shit? 5 kills, 6 kills, 8 kills. All mutas are not meant to get that many kills. Each one, 6 kills, 5 kills, 4 kills. Those are all SCVs and Marines. These are not Zerglings they've been killing. There's 1 or 2 with 1 or 0 kills, but most of them are above 5 kills, and that is why he is winning this game now. Serral is going to come in. If he can bust this base on the north, that would be huge, and he's going to be able to do it. Mutas in the main, Baneling, Zergling on the planetary in the north. Can he take it down? Yeah, I mean, there's just no support. It's enough Banelings, no way to repair there without getting all your SCVs blown up. Takes out a good number of SCVs as well as the 5th base. Mutas rotating around at this point. He has still lost no more mutas. He's still only lost 5 this entire game. I'll tell you what, guys, girls, ladies, gents, Zealots, Zerglings, Marines, if you guys are looking for a partner in life, find somebody who treats you the way Serral treats his Mutalisks, with love, care, focus, dedication, and affection. The way he massages these bad boys around the map. He takes care of them. I mean, he believes in them, their power, their safety, their strength, and I cannot believe how much they've done. That's actually insane, dude. He's still only a couple thousand resources behind, which when you're playing massive Lingbane Muta style against Biomine Thor, you're meant to be at like half the efficiency. You're not meant to be like equal with them. Banelings do connect with some of those Marines. Command Center gets low, does survive. That means his army's split. More Lings coming in. They're going to hit that base, but there's a planetary there. He could morph Banelings and try to roll in, or he could just hang out and deny. This is only half of the army in the middle. Clem maybe starts trying to push the middle and the bottom at the same time. The scary thing is, of course, the ability for Serral to just collapse. If he can just combine his army and collapse on one half of Clem's, that could be dangerous. Oh no, Serral gets cornered, those mutas. Oh, God. Okay, I jinxed it. I talked about love, care, and affection, and 8 more Mutalisks go down. He's down to just 12 now, which is a problem. Ultras are out on the field. Bane is going to run in on this base, and yet again, backstabby, stab. Clem never leaving units at his 3rd base, always wanting to control the game through the power of aggression. He's grouped his whole army up for one big doom push. Serral says, screw you, mate. I'm just going to kill your production now. That Lingbane gets in there. He's just going to... Oh, he takes out 1, 2, 3 Widow Mines. Great. Oh, he even takes out a 4th. He clicked on that Widow Mine with that pack of Zerglings. And he just runs the drones away. He's got this bottom middle base. That's where his drones run. He says, if you want to fight me, you got to come deep on creep where my mutas will excel. These Lings come back in. They find that base. The Banelings take out another Widow Mine. He's always clicking on those Widow Mines, making sure he takes out the Widow Mines before they can fire. This is just so exceptional from Serral. Every time he goes in a clump, he makes sure he clicks on the Widow Mines, or he manually boxes and detonates his Banelings to take him out. 3 Banelings to a Widow Mine. The Lings, the mutas come in on top of everything, and Serral fights back. A few scary moments with that push through the middle. The upgrade deficit, frightening for Serral, but those mutas absolutely flawlessly microed. We're going to game 4. All right. Up here in the top right. He is still 1 game from winning this series. A slight setback, but a very close match in that last one. The Blue Terran, it's Clem. And his opponent looking poised to maybe ramp up a bit of energy after that beautiful Muta control in that last game. Is Mutas the answer? Is he going to do it again? Let's find out here in the left side of Pillars of Gold, the bottom left, I should say. It's none other than the Night King himself, Serral. I always alternate between 2 ways of joking about Serral. One is the Night King. The other one is like just the GOAT. And it's just him being an angry billy goat. I love looking at videos of angry goats that have gotten loose, started like just headbutting people on the street. Those are my favorite, man. I love an angry goat. Mountain goat's also pretty incredible. You can see there, he rallied the SCV from the outside to mine from the inside. So his Reaper will be able to start perfectly and pop out right on 1 minute 58. Serral, of course, is just looking for proxy barracks right now. These overlords are kind of just, hey, did you proxy barracks? If you did, I'll find it. 16 hatch, 18 gas, 17 pool, very standard. Kind of surprised they don't just, so some of the, I think Solar was delaying his gas a bit because no one's ever actually using the 100 gas straight away. They just don't, they prefer to have the drones mining the gas there rather than mining 3 to a patch where it's a bit less efficient. The thing is, the minerals earlier is more effective than the gas. So I'm not sure what actually works out better in terms of overall efficiency, but definitely see Solar opting for something a little different. That Reaper, yeah, I think he popped right on 1 minute 58. A very well-timed Reaper. And this looks like a real standard opening. So we're going to know what build he does after that factory starts. So he tells the factory to start. And the second gas goes down. Okay, similar to the last game. Quite likely Banshees. Could be a Hellion. Could be a Hellbat timing. There's a few different options. But either way, it's Starport before third command center. And going to be going for a bit of a tech-heavier build. And ooh, that drone actually gets a double nibble on the Reaper. Oh, and he's gonna get to good tax this game. Very good Reaper tax. Gets the Zergling, forces a Spore Trick, a bit of lost mining time. Well done by Captain Clem. For those who don't know, O Gaming. If you guys haven't seen their Despacito cover, Desplanchito, I think, because basically Clem's name is Clement Desplanches. Well, it's not, I'm butchering it. But basically they did Desplancito. And it was one of the most glorious music videos I've ever seen. The O Gaming guys, the French StarCraft guys like Coker, Funker, TKL, etc. Oh my god. Yogo. They are some talented mother truckers. Like, they're one of the funniest things ever. You guys should definitely Google it. Desplanchito. I assume it's on their YouTube. I saw it on their Twitter originally. It's all in French, but it's got subtitles. And does it have subtitles? I don't even know if it does. I don't think it has subtitles. I don't think it needs subtitles, to be honest. It's great. They are a passionate crew of StarCraft nerds. But let's talk about this game. An Armory on the way. We're going to see a Hellbat timing once again here. But it's a more traditional one for Clem. And he's already got 1 Marine. Hides a Marine back there. 3 Marines. There's going to be no 4th Marine because he's going... Okay, doesn't want to miss any SCV production. He's focusing on the Hellions. So there's going to be 3 Marines loading into the medevac. And 1 Marine, 2 Marine, 3 Marine. They group up. Look at this. He hides them all separately. He's going to load them into the medevac. As it pops out, they all gather. Clem's microing his Hellions right now. Loads it up. Boosts across. He's going to swap into Banshee behind that. So we're going to have 5 Hellions, a 6th one about to pop. So 6 Hellbats, 3 Marines, and a medevac. Baneley Nest is on the way pretty damn early. It started just at 4 minutes and 5 seconds. But he's already got a good queen count as well. 6 queens here. If he brings... Oh, he sees those Hellions gathering. Does he... Serral's first warning is now. He sees the medevac boost in and he knows. Immediately runs the drones. How many can he save? Oh, he's going to lose 1 drone. Oh, he saves all but 1 drone's really nice. And look at that. Every queen is gathered. The Lings surround the Hellbats on the rear. Nicely done. Oh, disengage, Serral. Okay, overstays a little bit there. But that's a defense. He cuts off this last 4th Marine that rallies in as well. And now the queens come forward. Okay, so Clem's going to try to kill the hatchery, but there's no way. He's going to get pushed out. He has to withdraw. A great defense by Serral. He immediately grabs the drones, sends them back to his 3rd base. He starts a lair on his 3rd and drops spores because he knows what's the standard follow-up to this. Well, guess what? He's even scouted it. It's going to be Banshees. And there's already 1 Banshee coming across the map. Cloak, very close to finished, and going into 3 barracks. 3rd command center already down, of course. So Banshees, 3rd command center, 3 barracks, gets his 3rd and 4th gases. And next up will be 2 engineering bays, which he'll tuck in, probably there behind the natural, I would imagine. Hellbat's still trying to be annoying here. Banshee on the right. Hellbat's on the front. So Clem's trying to distract here because he's actually got a 4 Hellion drop rotating into the main base. Banshee, oh, it's going to get bruised. Ow, 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 ow. Engineering bays go down behind this. He's still macroing flawlessly while trying to keep Serral occupied. The Hellbat's coming back in on the front. He's dropping the Hellions in the main base. So Sporekriller does push that medevac back for now, but 4 Hellbats loose in the mineral line. If he can focus fire those drones, that'd be big. Serral pulls back. His Queen's crushing the defense on the front. The medevac flies in and gets itself killed. Oh, a couple drones do go down. Okay, a bit of a mistake there from Serral. 4 drones, but 2 Banelings. Oh, that last one hits all 3 Hellbats, and that's a cleanup. Can he get one more? He can. Nice focus fire by Clem, making the best of a bad situation. He gets 5 workers and keeps Serral occupied. Serral still doesn't have a 4th hatchery down, so this did something. Delayed his Evo chambers. There's an upgrade lead, but economically, Serral has a lot of freedom now. He's got great creep spread. He's already moving a spore and a drone over there. Look at that. The drone arrives as he gets over 300 minerals, immediately puts the hatch down. Just so much preparing ahead of time. Grabs a drone, sends it there, does other things, comes back, puts the hatchery down. Just like perfect management of so many different things. And he's up to 5 gases. So this could be mutas if he drops the 6th gas in the near future. Might just be Hydras though. We'll have to keep an eye on how he does this. Baneling speed and 1-1 are on the way for our Zerg player Serral. Still no 6th gas, but he's already sending drones over to that 4th. He's up on 70 workers and 5 more on the way. He's going straight to 75. Serral knows he has a lead. Serral would not normally drone this hard unless he knows that he's ahead. So because he shut the early game aggression down, he knows he's got a bit more time until the medevacs and the Marines and the stim arrive than normal. So he's using it. Just crazy creep spread, macroed up to like a solid 10 drones on his 4th, 10, 12 drones on his 4th even. And he's like just, yeah, getting so well set up. He's now in Massling Bane production, and Baneling speed's ready. Does lose a lot of creep tumors there, but good transfuse. Where's the Link Bane? Does end up losing a queen and a bunch of transfuses. Bit of a bummer, but he's still got plenty of queens. So that came from 9 queens on the map. Massling Bane on the way. No upgrade advantage and no combat shields ready for Clem. Still 40 seconds away on that. You can see Serral here starting to... Is he splitting his army? No, he's not. Okay, there we go. Now he's going to split. Units there as well as units on the left ready to flank. A Zergling spotter ready to see if Clem comes from that side. So Serral's ready to sandwich this. He's set up. He's prepared. Let's quickly check the units lost tab, shall we? So you can see there, pretty good for Serral. He's actually a little more efficient overall. Marines come forward, clear the creep. These tanks nice and far back here. Serral's going around. He might just end up hitting the natural if he can't quite get an angle and Clem's just kind of treading water off creep. But if Clem goes on creep, he's going to get sandwiched. Serral immediately respreads that creep on the left. More of a dent in the creep there, but look at this. Serral's spreading it all over the right, and this time he's got a 5th base up as well as a macro hatch. So Serral's doing a much better job of spending his money this game. Lings do find an SCV and a depot over on the right. The Banshees, they're always ready to defend Baneling run-bys on that 3rd. Such a good tool for Clem. I think after that first game or two where those first 2 games, right, Serral was so just like dead set on trying to do Baneling run-bys on the 3rd. So Clem is like, look, if I open Banshees, I've got a permanent defense to that for the rest of the game. Burrow starts up as well as an infestation pit. Serral wants to play ultras from this. Lots of Ling Bane is out, but remember, he's got units in the north. The tanks are coming far forward. Oh, Serral cleans up a few of the front-running Marines. He's got to come forward with that sandwich. And you know what? Banelings! Banelings! Oh my god, Banelings find the mineral line. Oh, Serral is looking to smash the economy of Clem. Clem says, okay, I've got to get damage done. I've got to get damage. I just lost my base. But Serral, he's spreading units out from behind. He's spreading out from behind. He comes in from both sides, and there is no room for Clem to micro, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Clem has to abandon the tanks, pick up the Marines, and fly out of there. We see a drastic difference when he is surrounded. Clem so unstoppable when he's able to micro and fall back and stutter step and spread off creep. When he's surrounded, it's just not the case. More Banelings for Serral once again rallied up. He's actually misclicked out on the high ground of the main. He's going to have to reposition that if he wants to actually hit anything. The Banshees come forward. There's only 1 tank. Ooh, those Banelings take a big tank shot there, chasing a little bit too far, a bit too one directionally. We always talk about the curse of the Zerg that blobs their army and chases the Terran one directionally. Eventually, they end up all stuck behind each other, choked up, and not really doing it. These Banelings getting ready. They're just going to go for it. There's not that many SCVs on this base, but Serral is such a big economy, and Clem is starving right now. He needs more money, and those Banelings find a good little bit. Oh, he burrows 2 Banelings there as well. I don't know if Clem noticed that. There's so much going on. He scans it and does take those Banelings out. Command Center's burning here. How can you sleep while the command center is burning? Clem says, I'm not sleeping. I'm going to go kill this piece of shit now, right now, while we're at equal army supply. Before your economy kicks in, I got to make this happen. I got to make this work. It's now or never. He's got one tank really far back. He's getting some good engagements, man. Clem's so good with his micro, but look at that. A big Ling run by comes in. 1 or 2 more SCVs go down. Still a 5 hit point Banshee, just always doggedly defending these Ling run bys. He might even just make those all into Banes and go again, but I'd love to see Serral set up another circle, another enflankment, encirclement, and enflankment. I like that. Ling Bane does catch the rally. That is juicy. Yeah, forces the whole army to run back, and that means those tanks are abandoned. He's going to be able to jump on those when he sees all these Marines come back, and he's... Oh, he doesn't detonate it. He misses an opportunity. Serral a little bit too busy doing other things. He had 2 Banelings there, and he doesn't quite land it. But you know what? The Lings run back, and he should be able to catch those 2 tanks. They got left behind. These Banelings burrow. I don't know if Clem realizes that. They could unburrow later. And Clem just going to tap out. He is behind. The king is back in control. Let's not dilly-dally. Let us get straight here into Game 5 of this series, the deciding match. And honestly, it is just... down to the wire. He is clawing his way back into this series, and this was the tournament of reversals. Can Serral make it happen? Up here in the top left in the red, it is, of course, the Night King, the Finnish phenom, Serral. And his opponent in the bottom right, in the blue, the Terran player, it's Clem. You know, it's so crazy because Neeb was such a historic force in StarCraft 2, dominating the WCS circuit in 2016 and 2017 as well. 2017 was when he won 3 out of 4 of the majors. A laser won one of them. But he won Kesper Cup in 2016. Like, Neeb won a big Chinese tournament against top Koreans as well. Like, Neeb was historically groundbreaking. As a Protoss player, he was just on another level. As a foreign player, the first guy to win a tournament on Korean soil in that Kesper Cup since like 2001. Elki won something, right? Or Gur or something like that. I think it was Gur. It's like literally like the early days of StarCraft 1. And the crazy thing is that we sometimes forget how incredible and historic and groundbreaking Neeb's performances have been. And it's because of Serral. Because Serral took it to another level where he was like just on a completely different playing field of like, oh no, he won every WCS circuit for the year in 2018, the following year. And not only did he win every one, he won GSL versus the world with flying colors. Did he lose Katowice that year? Yes, but it was at the start of the year when there was a very broken ability on the Raven where they could spam. It was like a 30 energy anti-armor spell, 50 energy. How much did it cost? But it did damage. It cost very little energy. You could just spam these anti-armor missiles out that just did little bits of damage, and Mass Raven basically beat everything in the late game by stacking them up because they were so fast. They were like undodgeable or whatever, right? Yeah, but Serral just dominated. He didn't lose a best of series for like 9 months or something. Like, it was crazy. It was just such a different thing. And to see these guys taking the fight to him now, Raynor taking him down multiple times, Clem taking him down multiple times, Clem leading this series 0-2. I mean, it's awesome. Max Pax, I think, will be the next guy who gives Serral a lot of pause and a lot of trouble and joins those top 3 guys in Europe. I think Max Pax is the next guy to get there. Could take him another year or 2. Takes a while, but he's on the cusp. He's on the cusp of greatness. And the Reaper's coming forward. Chat's correcting me, saying 2019 was battle cruisers. I said 2018. I don't know if I misspoke, but I'm pretty sure I said 2018. Because that was Serral's year of dominance, guys. Katowice was 2018, was the Raven era. And it was that WESG that year with the Ravens, actually? I can't remember who Serral lost to in that tournament. 2018 was Sue in Katowice, but it was WESG where he lost to Maru. But the same period. They were about a month apart. Hellions are going to come out across this map now. So it's a quick third CC here. for Clem into the starport a little bit later than that. Now, normally you'd build a Banshee for safety here, but Clem is not even caring. Oh, Clem is doing the greedy. This dies. If you get hit by a Ravager attack when you're doing Hellion Raven, you can't do anything here. You need to see it coming. So he's being very aggressive with his Hellion Reaper, poking in, checking. Yeah, it's Queen Zergling's drones, Queen Zergling's drones. So very important that Clem scouts for this. He's going to use the Raven to clear up creep and see what he can do. Serral's got a quick third up. The Baneling Nest is on the way as well. 17 seconds. So yeah, just after 4 minutes. That's a very safe versus Armory Hellbat timing Baneling Nest. And sees the starport, sees the quick third command center. Doesn't know what is coming out of that starport. Probably going to assume Banshee. And definitely not a bad map for mutas. You can play a lot of styles on this map, to be honest. The Hellions here. 6 Hellions. He's building a 7th and an 8th as well. A lot of Hellions coming out. And that Raven comes out. Zergling sees the 3rd. Zergling tries to get in. Sees a few more Hellions coming out. So he knows he's got to build a good number of Zerglings. He's only got 15 right now. So he's kind of staying on a lower count. And his Overlords are rather conservatively placed. I would have shoved mine forward to there, and all the way out here by now. But he's tracking the Hellions pretty well. He's keeping his Queens together. Goes a little bit far off creep there. Hellions are going to take advantage. Clear up a creep tumor or two there. Queen's going to just chase that off and replace that. Anytime you can focus that Raven, it's really good. But Clem just going to rotate over here, clear up these creep tumors. Not having to use scans feels really good. He knows the Queens are out of position. He's going to dive on in. The Zerglings weren't there as well. The Zerglings needed to be in the natural to stop this. Oh, the auto turret is even going to zone them out. He stops to fight the Queen for a little bit. The Queen gets focused by the auto turret. Evo Chamber. Can he get another one? He can't. The focus stops that second Evo Chamber. Can Serral get another one down? His drones are protected in the north for now. The Queens do get up here. Clem may be missing an opportunity to roast a fat stack of drones there. And you know what? I love the patience with the Zerglings. If he loses the Lings, the Hellions can overwhelm. But Serral's like, no, let the Hellions come in and get surrounded, and only then with plenty of Zerglings will I surround and deal with this. As the Hellions try to run to the other side, the Zerglings can deal with that. And 5 drones is fine. That's actually, it's mining time as well. But equal units lost time. You're up on 64 drones as Serral. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gases. Your spy is almost ready. This is a great start for Serral. That could have been deadly. His Queens were way too slow to rotate. He could have been respreading tumors. He should have split his Queens. And that is one of the golden rules against Ravens, is you're meant to split your Queens. So that was a big mistake for Serral. And his Zerglings should have been split between here and here so that it's not so easy for the Hellions to get in. Big mistakes for Serral, but his crisis management is just insane, and he ends up a little ahead after that with no real follow-up pressure. His creep, of course, wasn't respread very quickly, so especially on this left side, you'd love to have his creep spreading that whole time, but it took him a long time with all his Queens in the main to actually get back down here. That's one big thing he loses out. This creep wasn't really spreading during it. But remember that problem earlier in the series on Oxide. This time he's not going to have that 4th and 5th hatch both on location. If he has to give up one of these, it's not the end of the world. He can move drones to the other. He still wants to add a macro hatch once he gets the money, but because he's investing in mutas, this is a very gas-heavy style. It's going to be a little while before he can afford that. And he's actually... Where's his Evos? 1 in the 3rd, 1 in the main. I hate that. I hate having the Evos split up, but does get Carapace and melee started. Queenling Bane here. Should be able to defend this just fine. Ooh, the Queen's kind of funneling the Banelings a little bit. Oh, you got to focus fire the Medivacs. He's not shooting the Medivacs. Serral, big mistake there. In those scenarios, you've got to shoot the Medivacs because that can't get healed and it puts pressure on them. If they stand their ground there, you really do want to hit those, in my opinion. Mutas fly in. No turrets, but the Marines are close by. He gets 3, 4 SCVs. Ooh, 5, 6, 7. Not bad, not bad. Doesn't lose any mutas yet. Remember, he's very good at taking care of those mutas. And oh, he finds a mineral line as well. 8, 9, 10. Does lose a muta there. Almost gets an 11th, not quite. Sorry, guys. 2 mutas did go down. Ling Bane still skirmishing with the Marines on the right side. He should be able to shut this down. Ooh, but you know what? Clem's got good focus firing. There's not much Ling Bane here. If you had like 30 Zerglings, maybe, with a few Banes, you could go in with the Baneling muta at the same time. As it is, Clem's going to be able to keep that drop alive. Creep is spreading out the left side decently here. Bam, 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 bam. Serral constantly dropping new tumors when he should just be spreading the old ones, in my opinion. That's just a faster way of spreading creep. But it's, you know, it's a high pressure situation. Mistakes are made. Oh, the 5th actually got cancelled by that drop. Sorry, I missed that, guys. But I mean, he's droning on the 4th, so it's fine. It's not the end of the world. His 1-1 is quite far behind. The 2-2 is very fast. Did he lose another muta there? He did not. Both sides just skirmishing here on the front. 78 workers to 69 SCVs, but a fourth already going down. Clem just speedrunning this. He's like, yeah, let's go straight to the macro game. No worries. He's got 2 factories, one with the tech lab, one with the reactor. He comes in and cancels the 5th again. Serral's like, fuck defending that. I'm not fighting through this narrow avenue of death. Oh, can he get the Widow Mines? Can he get the Widow Mines? He gets a few of them, but oh, he's way too clumped. He's way too clumped. He has to click on that. Yeah, he has to detonate 3 banelings to kill that Widow Mine. Otherwise, it would have killed all of them. Not the most amazing trades. Not the worst either for Serral. And the Link Bane coming in. He's going to fly his mutas in on the other side. Can he kill it? Oh, Clem's too busy microing. He loses the turret. A nice move there by Serral. Starts to kill SCVs on the other side, but he's losing queens as well. Oh, those Marines, they're so deep on creep. But oh, the big Widow Mine. Oh, he loses a lot of Marines to the Banelings, but a lot of Banelings go down to the Widow Mines as well. Only 4 SCVs ended up going down, and a few more mutas did fall there as well. So he's trying to build up that muta count is Serral, but his 2-2 has not started yet. His Evo chamber is sitting idle and he is gas starved. He starts a hatch on the left. Clem sees that and he's rotating. He's sending half of his army there. He's still got units in the top right. He's trying to get down there, but those Widow Mines cleaned up. Very important for Serral to not let those Widow Mines fire again. And Clem just hanging out just off the edges of creep, being an annoying Terran player. And he picks up, boosts back. Can he get back to safety? He's got some Widow. Oh, he does a cute little redrop on the low ground, but he's going to lose all these units for that, I think. Or will he actually? The Banelings will close in and take that out, but at the same time, 5th base on the left gets cancelled. This army comes in. Serral thinking about going in. The Widow Mines, though, just bait for these Banelings, dude. Serral doesn't quite have the numbers. His army is just down from Serral's. And with 2-2 kicking in and 2-2 not started for Serral, oh, sharp intake of breath. That's the only commentary that situation needs, guys. He's starting +2 melee as +3 attack starts. It's a fucking disaster. He's got 16 mutas, but they're not finding the same damage they did on Romanticide. Clem has learned his lesson. He's much better with his missile turrets. He's much better with kind of respecting the mutas and dealing with them. Oh, Serral does find some of these units. Gets 1 Widow Mine, gets 2 Widow Mines. A big Thor shot into the mutas, though. And no Banelings here, pushes him back. +2 carapace now finally starting up for Serral. Does clean up the Widow Mines on the left. Well done. Very important to clean those Widow Mines up, as I said. But you've got a 4-base Terran versus a 4-base Zerg. The 5th is about to reestablish, but you've got to get some movement. I really feel the natural is the weak point that Serral's been missing. There's planetary and turrets up everywhere. I think he's got to get a big Ling run by into the natural and the 3rd. These should be his targets through the left side of the map here. Right now, Serral isn't finding any real damage, any disruption on Clem. Clem's whole army is just pressuring him, and that's a bad fight for Serral. Loses a bunch of Zerglings. He's going to lose the hatchery as well. He's trying to go for the infestation pit and the hive. Okay, here he goes. If he can get that 5th command center and the 4th, this is okay. It's not that big an army, though, for Serral. He does take the planetary out and 8 SCVs. So 2 command centers go down, 8 SCVs, but a lot of SCVs survive. And you know what? Oh, Widow Mines! Ow, he takes a big shot. A big shot. He's going to try. If he can clear this army up, maybe it's all worth it. But he's got no Zerglings. He's got no damage. It's all just Banelings without mutas and Zerglings. I mean, as long as Clem's spread out, you just won't take an efficient fight. He's got to deal with this army. He cannot lose this base. He cannot lose the +2. But the double upgrade advantage for Clem, the Marauder Marine Mine Thor spread is just brilliant. He's ferrying these Thors back to safety. The mutas are coming in from behind, but there's mines there. There's Marines. There's Marauders. And Clem is just full steam ahead, pushing across this map. A desperate hatchery on the left side of the map. Serral is in huge trouble right now. He is so far behind on the upgrades, and even when he catches up, it's going to be for about 20 seconds before 3-3 kicks in. Serral is simply fighting with a defunct composition. Mutiling Bane does not beat Biomine Thor. Not when he's down on upgrades. Not when the Terran is ahead on supply and in big fights. Whenever these Thors Marauders are spread out, the Banelings are so cost inefficient. Look at the units lost out. Way worse for Serral than in the previous games. He's trying desperately to hang on, but he just can't do it. He's going to try to bust this situation. Finally, the mutas join in. He wants to shut this down. The Thors getting picked up, but losing those Thors would be a huge loss. That's 3 big 6 supply units. One of them does get taken down, but he keeps ferrying them back. One of them gets left behind, but no, he saves it. And he saves another one. The double Thor pickup getting over here. A few medevacs go down, but most of them survive. The Thors get back. The rally of Marines forcing Serral to disengage. The inability to deal with that. The inability to catch those Thors, dude. That's huge. Guess what? 2-2's kicked in. Great. Whoa, 3-3's kicking in for the Terran as well. He's even floated his main out. Has Clem. He's keeping that economy up. Let's look at the income tab. Oh, he's just finding nothing with the run by. Serral is way ahead on the income for the last bunch of minutes in this game. But this base is up and a 5th is landing. So he's floated his main down. He's got a command center turning into an orbital there. So, I mean, this is still a double upgrade advantage. It's still a basic bitch composition for Serral. No hive even started. he's going to lose another 5th base. He's got to find some counter damage. And I talked about hitting that natural as an opportunity. He doesn't even really have the numbers to do it right now. Ling Muta comes in. He's got to keep these units alive. These Lings disengaging and coming back in and hitting those depots time and again could do something. But, I mean, Clem is just absolutely just massive ahead on the army. Double upgrade ahead, up 20 army supply, maintaining that. Serral continuing to build mutas, but he just doesn't have any momentum. And this is, look at this, so well prepared. Little Zergling run by is looking for value. Serral's finding nothing. Gets a tech lab in the main to lower the Marauder production. Concussive Shells was forgotten again in this series. I don't know who talks to Clem a lot but coaches him, but that's multiple games in this series that he forgot Concussive. I'll tell you, when Banelings are rolling into a spread, if the front few Banelings get hit by Concussive, it fucks up the Zerg because everything else gets kind of stuck behind them. It really makes Widow Mines a lot more effective. So that is a big misstep from Clem, but he's so good at his micro anyway, even without Concussive, that extra utility upgrade that he should be going into in the late game. Oh, Widowmine gets a good shot. He's going to lose another base. Serral realizing he can't fight front on. He's wisely going to try and counterattack, but oh man. Oh, he takes a Widowmine, another Widowmine there, and no, that goes off as well. Oh, his mutas are getting banged up here. He loses one there. He will at least get that command center. Clem can't get away with that. That's building a command center under the mutas, not the brightest idea, but look at this army. This is the Doom push. That is 2 screens of Thor, Bio, Mine. Not that many Marauders, but a billion Marines with a pre-spread trying to engage his Serral, but there's Marines on every side. It is literally an encirclement of Marines. The Bio overwhelming the Ling Bane, and Serral outmanned, outgunned, and pushed out of that game. The mutas unable to find purchase. Clem just dealt too good with it, and we saw what happens when someone expertly deals with mutas in that final game. Serral falls to Clem. Clem takes out Serral in the 5th game. Now, where did this last game go wrong? Let's take a look right now. Where did this game go wrong? This double drop was actually super good. He gets a few overlords up here, and then he gets a cancel. Why? Serral was microing his mutas. So Serral's attention, if we look at his attention, he could have followed that drop. This is actually a scenario where he doesn't have that much Ling Bane. He's actually being a bit greedy. He's building 11 more workers right now. Okay, so he wants to drone up his fort. I guess that's kind of important. Yeah, he maybe could have got underneath that, but he didn't. He had so few Lings, I can see why he didn't. Because he's gone so tech heavy here, he's like, shit, get the upgrades and drone the 4th base. But these mutas do a good bit, right? If Clem was a bit more over eagerly pushing, if these mutas came in and Clem's army had just left the base, he could have done way more. So this was kind of not the greatest muta timing to come in. But it still gets 10 SCVs. It's a bummer that he loses that 5th hatch. So that's rough for Serral. But he's at 80 workers versus 64 of Terran. Yes, there's a 4th command center finished, which is obviously not great, but you know, it's playable from here for sure. It's playable. I think in this sort of game though, you really need to be striking where they aren't. And Serral, I think, has gone way too Baneling heavy. So he's kind of going, his muta count's pretty low. So he already lost 2 mutas, which is a bit of a bummer. If you're going muta heavy, I think this is too many Banelings this early. I think you should be building more mutas and Lings first and going into the Banelings a little bit later as more of like a last resort. I think he thought Clem was going to bring the fight to him a little bit harder. The other thing is I really think run bys and trying to use that movement and control with the mutas and be a little more aggressive, right? Clem does get this base up. He does have some Marine spotters. Clem's a bit safer with his units on the rally, but potentially some more of those run bys could have been useful, at least clearing these Marines up. He tries to do it, but notice by the time he gets set up for it, Clem's already moved in and cancelled a 5th base again. And that's a big problem. Arguably, if Serral was going to play this style, he maybe should have said, look, after my 5th has been cancelled, build a hatch here and here, and be ready to do that bounce around game and commit a lot more to the run bys and use more of my like production to deal with the army pushing in the front. But imagine if he ran in with like mutas, Overseer, and like 30 Zerglings here. He could just overwhelm that. Just click on the mines and blow it up, right? Shift click the mines of the mutas. Bam, you're on the production. That's the real power of this sort of heavy early muta style. But if you let the Terran push Widow Mines on the front, it feels like it's always going to work out for the Terran and not for you. So I think this was a real tough situation for Serral. Yeah, because once the Widow Mines are set up on the front and you're fighting that with just Ling Bane, it's like, ugh. I also think he could have done, I mean, it's hard. So against a lesser Terran, what you do is you grab 8 Banelings or 10 Banelings at a time and you just click them into the bio mine spread and you just focus on most of your army is on the other side of the map doing run-bys, counterattacks, backstabs. And you just use your rally point, you just keep morphing banelings, just clicking them in, 8 or 10 at a time. Because every time you do that, if they're clumped, you just get a great hit. You're killing Widow Mines every time. Widow Mines are firing on the banelings, and it's forcing a lot of micro and stims out of them, and it costs you very little APM. You just morph banelings, click them in. Like, click them through their army, go micro your harassment. Go back, do an inject cycle, morph 10 banes, click them in. And you just keep doing that, and it just basically stops their advance, forces a lot of APM while you fuck them up at home. But if you let them set up pre-spreads on the front and you engage into it, in this sort of scenario, it doesn't work for you. In general, compositionally, it's a bad matchup for you. Big armies with Widowmine spreads, microed well, you don't want to fight into that with Ling Bane, right? But you add the fact that you're at a double upgrade deficit for most of this game, and you really don't want to be fighting into that. So even though he loses a few mutas there, that was a bummer. He did lose a bunch of mutas there as well. And then, you know, he flies into these Widow Mines later, is a bit of a problem. So he loses too many mutas in this game. And yeah, doesn't quite find the ability to take the fight to Clem. Remember, in the other games, even the ones which he lost, they were by a narrower margin in this game. This game was a bit more decisive for Clem. In those games, he was always clearing Clem's third mineral line and barely getting overwhelmed at home. There was always times where he was taking the fight to Clem and saying, hey, you have to react to me. In this game, it felt like the few moments where he went in, Clem reacted, easily dealt with it, bam, and continued attacking. 90%, 80% of this game was Clem attacking, dictating where and when the fights happen. And maybe 10-15% was Serral doing that to him. And that, in Zerg vs Terran at this level, if they're the one choosing when and where the fights happen, they will just beat you, especially if they have the better army than you, which he absolutely does. The mutas need to be catching him off guard and making him move elsewhere. Even just getting a big pack of units and forcing him to have a lot more shit at home, it allows you to then go, okay, you can't be pushing down both flanks of the map at the same time. That's bullshit. I'll force you to leave all your shit at home, threaten, go, you got enough units? Cool, pull back, come in for a surround, crush this army, push you the fuck off the map. But you've got to do that mobility. You've got to find those openings. And Serral just lost a few too many mutas. He wasn't ever able to get a Zergling aggression going on Clem. And Clem, let's be real, just did a great job of getting up a really fast fourth, a quick second factory, so he's pumping Widow Mines and Thors. And I think Serral did a really good job of making this game kind of close, right? But that double Thor save was insane. Like, he had no business saving those Thors. And that really may have been the straw that broke the camel's back in this game. I mean, it wasn't a good situation for Serral still. But those Thors, even here, he saved the Thors earlier as well. These fucking Thors, man. Oh, you know, we got to go green, man. We got to go green. We got to meet the Marsara Accord. We got to stop our manufacturing emissions, man. You know, got to recycle these Thors. And like this was it, yeah. So look at how many times he saves, drops, and each time they drop, they're shooting and killing. They're killing mutas each time as well. And that one, I'm like, well, that one gets left behind, right? And it's like, nope. And Sarah's like, God damn it, can you fucking what? He loses so many mutas and Lings and Banes, and 2 of these big daddies survive. Dude, damned well played by Clem. I think well deserving. He is one of the top 3 players in Europe now. Raynor, Clem, and Serral. Dude, they are all on such an insane level. This is so good to see. I cannot wait till the next time these guys fight, because Serral's going to be mad and he wants revenge. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video. Goodbye and good night.